Okay, everybody, can you give me some feedback here about how you are seeing me? I'm trying to figure out if we've got it or if I'm skinny. Nope, see it's okay. See it's not the right way on there.
How about if we turn it all the way around? Or I see you want it on landscape.
Yeah, and people are watching. Can you just talk into the mic and say we're trying to figure this out?
Hi folks, this is Dave. It's about 6 o'clock, and if you can hear me, I apologize, but we're having some major computer problems, so we're trying to fix that. It's about 6 o'clock.
Okay. I'm going to be skinny, so I'll just do it skinny again. Okay.
This is one way to be skinny, huh?
Okay, I'm back, guys. I tested this several times today, and it worked fine, but here I am. So, welcome to my live tonight. You might be wondering why we're talking about Christmas paper. Well, it is only May, but I'm going to be showing you a way to use your Christmas paper for non-Christmas projects. And sorry that I'm skinny, but at least you'll be able to see the projects, okay? And I'm going to show you some fun tips as well. I'll give you the measurements when we're done. Okay, so the cards I'm showing you tonight are made the same way. Some of them just open with the long fold at the top, and some open with the shorter fold at the top. So I've used thick, very vanilla 8.5 by 11 cardstock for the bases, and the one that opens this way is just 8.5 by 5.5, and the one that opens this way is 11 by 4.25. I used a piece of designer series paper that is 5 by 3.25. Now, what I wanted to show you is the paper pack that I used is the brightly gleaming designer series paper. Now, look here at this one piece. This piece has stars on one side and just this design on the back. So it is Christmas paper, but couldn't you see this paired with red cardstock for 4th of July? Well, I sure could. So let me show you. We're going to do this card first, only I am going to do it to where it is landscape rather than vertical. Now, in this designer series paper, I've got Night of Navy in here, and the other color is Pretty Peacock, which, hey, we don't sell anymore. So I'm not going to use that. I folded my card base. Now I'm going to take my Night of Navy paper, again, that I've cut to 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And you would cut that your solid cardstock that same size, regardless of if you're doing a vertical or landscape card. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to mount this solid cardstock right here. Now, for the card that we're going to do landscape, we're going to cut it a little bit differently. We're going to cut it at 1.5. and then that will leave a piece that's 1.5 by 5, and it will leave this second piece that is 3.25 by 5. So now all we're going to do, we're going to glue these down onto our solid cardstock here. We're going to leave just that teeny little border that's about 1/8 of an inch. Then we're going to pop over here, and I don't want that on that side. So let me just take it off with my finger. Of course it happens when we're live, right? All right, so here we go. Now we are going to just put that right here on our paper. And we're going to butt it right up here. And now we need our little sentiment like we had. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my postage stamp, my postage punch, and I'm going to punch that out. Now, for this one, I think we're going to use a happy birthday. Thinking of you on your special day. And I want to stamp it in Night of Navy. Now, I'm pretty good at lining up things, but I wanted to show you a little trick that you can use. Of course, you can use a Stamparatus or a stamp positioning tool, but if you don't have one of those, you can use your trimmer. And here's what you do. You get your little square lined up here with a couple of the lines that are right there. Okay, I want to get it totally even. Then you're going to place your stamp where you want it. And my hands keep kind of shaking here, so let me hold it down. All right, so we've got it there. Now, if I can unstick my fingers. All right. Good night, nurse. There we go. I've been working with glue all afternoon, so it's still on my fingers. Okay, now I'm going to put in my block, and you can see that I've got that lined up. So now I'm going to come in. Let's take that trimmer away, and I'm going to stamp right on my piece. And I've got that lined up really well. Then I have punched another one of these postage stamp pieces out of my Night of Navy cardstock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut this in half. And it doesn't have to be exact, because what we're going to do is we are going to be very tricky here. We are going to turn this upside down, and we're going to put a little glue right here and here. And the reason I'm using the multi-purpose glue is it's easier to move it around. Okay, so I'm going to get that edge down there, and I'm going to do the same thing at the top here. And you see how that makes just a nice little border on both? I also think I want to put a little rhinestone on this one. So I'm going to put that right there to glitz it up a little, since it is a birthday card. And let's bring our card back in here. I'm going to put this right on. Now, do you guys throw away your border pieces of your dimensionals? I don't. I use every stinking piece of these. You're paying for it, so don't waste it. Okay, so we're going to pull off the backing there. And we're going to put another one right over here. And voila! Now I've got that there. Last little thing I'm going to do is use...
Use all of them.
That's right, Kay. We're going to use all of them. Now, I am going to make a little bow here. And I've got some leftover vanilla twine, but if you haven't seen yet in the new catalog, we have a baker's twine essential pack that's got black, white, crumb cake, I think it's soft suede in here, vanilla and white, and you get a ton of those. Then what I'll do is just put a little dab of my glue there, and I'll put a little bow on here. And now look, I have got 2 cards using my same paper, one vertical, one horizontal. Now, let me show you another one. Guys, this is just so fun to do. Here I am going to do a sympathy card. A lot of times we want a sympathy card to look a little bit elegant. Again, this is a sheet of the Christmas DSP. Now, we don't have the peacock anymore, but I thought Blackberry Bliss would look awesome with this. So that is what we're going to use. Again, the same measurements. The base is thick, very vanilla, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. Then I'm using my Blackberry Bliss, that is 5 1/8 by 3/8. And I'm going to put down this corner, then the opposite corner, then I'm going to pat it down. And you see how it's even on all edges? Sometimes if you try to put these first and then these, it gets a little wonky. Okay, now for the DSP on this card, you actually cut it a little bit differently. It's the same DSP full size, 5 by 3 1/4, and then you just cut it down at 2 and 3 1/4. So I'm going to put the glue on the right side this time, and instead of putting my large piece on the top, I am going to put this smaller piece, okay? Then I'm going to take this beautiful foil paper, and I'm going to put that down here at the bottom. All right, now I've got my With Heartfelt Sympathy. I want to make another sympathy card, so I'm going to bring back in my piece right here. Okay, then I want my Blackberry Bliss for this. So I'm going to ink that up. And it's upside down, so I'm going to turn it around. And then I am going to line this up with this line on my cutter. I wanted to show you that if you don't want to eyeball it, as long as you line it up with one of the lines here on your trimmer, it's perfectly straight. So just a little trick if you don't want to use, or if you don't have a stamp positioning tool, but I recommend the Stamparatus. It is cool beans for sure. All right, my little cord is getting in my way here, so I'm just going to move it out. There we go. All right, same thing. We are going to cut a piece, punch a piece of our Blackberry Bliss. We're going to punch a piece here so I can have my postage. Now, you could easily just cut this with your snips. You don't have to put it in your cutter because you don't care about this line. It's only this line here. So again, I'm going to put my liquid glue. Sometimes you have to just tap it to get it to play nice and come out. Play nicely, I should say, with the grammar king sitting right here, checking your comments.
And by the way, Carol is absolutely right. She says I rock.
Oh, there you go. Okay, and then again, you would just put this down right here, but I want to show you something. I think I told you that I was going to show you a paper saving technique. So I want to show you that, but I need to quickly get a piece here of 4 inches by 5 1/4, because that is the same size of my layer piece. Now watch. Let's cut this paper right here so you can see. I'm kind of doing this on the fly, but trust me, it is going to be worth it here. You are going to be amazed. So that was 5 inches by 3 1/4. Okay, and then I'm going to do it as if I'm doing the sideways card. So we're going to cut this at 1 1/2, and then I'll have my 3 1/4 left. Okay, what I showed you earlier is I punched the little pieces to go behind my sentiment out of a scrap, but you don't need to waste a scrap on that. Look here, this is my layer piece. I'm going to go right in with my punch, and then when I put my Designer Series paper on that layer, looky here, ladies, then you would mount this right on your neutral piece and you wouldn't see that little hole. Isn't that awesome? And you could do that if you had a bigger, like a die that you were using. You could do the same thing because you're going to cover it up with Designer Series paper. How stinking cool is that? Let me show you one more card that is in the works. This paper right here, believe it or not, was also Christmas paper. Carol, I bet you'll remember this. It was the Christmas Time is Here specialty paper. And who would know if you sent them this card that it was Christmas paper? Even this is our toile Christmas paper, and it's a winter scene. It does not have to be Christmas. So the whole point of this live was getting you to think out of the box, ladies. You know, I have a lot of leftover Designer Series paper at the end of the annual catalog. And this year, I am going to have my in-person BOGO. So if you live in the North Texas area near Wiley, you might even be able to come to that. Or if you want to take a road trip. And I also, after I have my BOGO, I'm going to put together mystery boxes again. And you'll be able to grab those. And I'm going to talk about that in my newsletter. You might have even seen that today if you're on my newsletter list. Now, if you don't get my newsletter, I encourage you to go to stampmaven.com. You'll see some cool projects and articles, and there's a little purple box up at the top. If you put your name and email in there, you will also get a free gift from me, and you'll be signed up for my newsletter. I send out a weekly email with projects and all the other good stuff from Stampin' Up. Right now, we've got a couple specials going on, and if you go to annbrown.stampinup.net, you can see them. You can grab some extra host rewards, or if you've been thinking about signing up for Stampin' Up, you can get some 30 extra shopping dollars in your kit. If you don't know what I do as a demonstrator, or you just think, hey, I don't really know if that's for me, give me a shout, and I would love to talk to you about that. Now, Dave and I are leaving Friday for the Stampin' Up incentive trip in Maui.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! And thank you to all of you that helped us achieve this trip. And I am hoping to go live next Monday and show you some of the fun stuff that Stampin' Up is giving to us. Depends on the internet connection, so I will try to give you an advance shout out about it so you can join in too. Well, hey guys, thanks for sticking with me tonight, and I'm going to do my darndest to get this landscape thing figured out. Cheerio!